Hello guys, NautoAce here once again. And this is going to be a special vlog. Basically, I want to give my thoughts on Podcast Beyond. Wow, shocker. Yeah, talking about an IGN podcast. Yes, if you kind of know sometimes in my channel in the past what I do, podcasts, ramble, which is a cut clip from a podcast, whatever that's interested to me, I would make a clip on it. And part of that was the IGN podcast with Greg Miller and Colin Moriarty. So why am I talking about Podcast Beyond all suddenly? Well, I want to give my thoughts on their final episode with Greg and Colin. But for people who don't know what's going on and what's the big deal is as of January, for people who don't know, as in January, excuse me, was that both Greg and Colin, along with some people from IGN, I forgot, there's Team Geddes, and then there's this guy, I do apologize, I forgot his name, Scarpino. His last is Scarpino. Well, all four of them decided to create a YouTube video called Kind of Funny. It's their new production, video game related, and they started this since 2012. But at the same time, they were doing IGN, and the backstory of why they quit was they wanted to focus more on Kind of Funny games or Kind of Funny production. And then you might say, wow, why would you do that? Why? I mean, IGN pays them good money. Why would you want to quit to do your own thing? Well, again, it's maybe the passion, maybe because a fan. They have their reason, and I can't blame them. From what I heard, really was because the fans said, we'll support you if you do this, if you focus more on this. So after evaluating, I guess they decided to say, yeah, we're gonna quit IGN and focus more on kind of funny production. This is kind of like the same situation with Alex with Game Horizon. And for a while, the backstory was he wanted to try something new with Game Horizon, which is Twitch streaming games as part of Game Horizon. That's why Backlog Battle. And then for a while, he made again an evaluation, and then he just made a conclusion. You know what? I want to do this more than Game Horizon. So he rather do Twitch streaming, playing games, streaming game, rather than articles or basically making articles and reviewing games. I mean, he still probably want to do it, but he want to focus more on doing Twitch streaming. So he left Game Horizon, decided his own thing called Backlog Battle. So it's the same situation with Greg, Colin, and the other two. Was they quit IGN so they can focus more on kind of game, and also because when they're part of IGN, remember they are still representing IGN, so they can't do certain things under their contract. So without that contract, now they're it's up for grab. They can talk about whatever they want, not just Sony, Nintendo, Xbox, anything. I mean, there's more to it, but they just said, hey, you know what? It's just much easier for us just to focus on kind of games. We have full control, and they sign up for Patreon so fans can basically support them. So all I can say is best of luck. So, okay, so I just saw their final 2-hour special, the last podcast Beyond with Greg and Colin. And my thoughts are, kind of, I guess I'm also a Sony fan, so I do listen to them once in a while. I kind of like Greg. It's okay. Colin, if you really know, my what I think about Colin, to some extent, in a professional level, I don't like the guy. He tends to rub me the wrong way. Sometimes he kind of tends to piss me off in a professional level, on the business, nothing personal, it's all business. I never met the guy, and I bet you if I met him in a personal level, probably he's a cool guy. But like in the professional level, what he does very professional. But sometimes again, I hate to say this because I kind of said this before with Alex with his olive branch, was sort of his personality and attitude kind of clash with some of the people, rubbing people the wrong way. But of course, as basically rule, your personality is your personality, your attitude is your attitude. So Colin is Colin, Alex is Alex. You can't really tell them, oh, you better shape up or whatever. If they're not being a jerk about it, they're not being, quote unquote, excuse the language, a hole, there's no problem. And they're not being in. Colin's not being a hole. I just don't like how he just acts. That's it. Kind of like Christian Sven from Capcom. That's why people call him the market jerk, because the guy rubs people the wrong way. I mean, when he decided voluntarily quit, people were like a bit, yeah. But I'm not gonna go there. That's unprofessional. But you kind of get the idea. But when I saw this, they really went emotional, and I can't blame them because even so, podcast Beyond It started with, from what I remember, Jeremy and Chris Roper. Because I think from what I heard, the story was IGN told him they got you guys should do a podcast based on dedicated to PlayStation. So they say, what's the point? There's Game Scoop, and this is at 2007, so they tried it. Then of course after a while, Jeremy left, and then after a while, Chris Roper left. And then so the lead guy was not Colin, Greg Miller, and his co-host Colin Moriarty, and also Ryan Clement. And both Greg and Colin actually define what Podcast Beyond is. The PlayStation IGN podcast Beyond, yeah, Podcast Beyond. That's what they call it. So that basically a lot of the PlayStation communities join in. IGN, Colin fan, Greg Miller fan, PlayStation fan, gamer, community fan, you name it, that they were so big and popular that even Shuhei Yoshida became a fan. And remember, one of the E3 conference, they actually, IGN they photobombed it. There was a picture with Shuhei Yoshida with Greg, Colin, and Andrew Goldfarm, I think that's his name, I'm sorry. So yeah, I mean, it's a big deal. I did listen to most of them. They do good news. I can see why it's like it is worth listening to if you are into like the Sony news and PlayStation news. And they give their thoughts. They give it with a professional manner, with professionalism and expertise. So I mean, like I said, Greg's okay. He's a funny guy. Colin, he rubs me the wrong way, but I do acknowledge him that he is a professional. What he does benefit the gaming community. His attitude may be sour, his personality to some extent may be sour, but he's a professional. Nothing personal, great. Colin. So to me, I guess it is a little bit sad. You know, it kind of made me sad the way they were crying, they were emotional. Again, like I said, I understand they're leaving behind a legacy. But again, you know, always any business, new chapter, new story comes in. Because starting next week, Marty Silva will take over. And from what I heard, Max Scoville, and if you don't know who the guy is, he's one of the new people who worked at IGN. But if you follow Rev 3 games, and to some extent Destructoid, that's the guy. So yeah, that guy's cool. I believe on Max Scoville because I see what he does in Rev 3. So it's going to be interesting if he's actually part of it along with Marty Silva. It's going to be interesting. I mean, to some extent also to Max Scoville. It's awesome you're in IGN. I would not even think you would actually sign up for IGN. My goodness, I'm like, whoa, wow. That was a shocker to me. So good job. It's going to be interesting now also. So hopefully Max Scoville will be also in the Nintendo voice chat. I like listening to that because I like Nintendo. You know me, Nintendo. So again, it is sad that they're going to go away. But again, if you are a fan of Greg Miller and Colin Moriarty and Tim Geddes and Scarpino, remember, you can go check them out on YouTube. Kind of funny and kind of funny games. It's the same thing, even especially the Greg Game Over Greggy podcast. Think of that one as a new direct sequel to the podcast Beyond, while the new podcast being basically is a new chapter. Just saying. Yeah, you know, it's one of those metaphor thing. So anyway, yeah, that's my thoughts about it. And also, by the way, the reason I'm doing this way rather than like just a graphic and just doing voiceover, I wanted to make it more like just have more class about it because I really want to show my appreciation to them. So basically, doing this person to person, that what Podcast Beyond did, whether you like the people there or not, what they did basically contributed to the PlayStation community. And even, like I said, Shuhei Yoshida was happy about it. So, I mean, for Greg, Colin, Tim, Scarpino, best of wishes for you guys doing kind of games. I did check some of your video; they were good. One of my favorite one was conversation with Colin about Nintendo. That was actually good as a Nintendo fan because that'll be another story. It'll be a vlog about it. But for now, again, like I said, it is a new chapter in for Pockets Beyond. I can't wait next week to hear about it. Let's see how it goes. And for kind of games, again, for people, if you're a Colin fan, again, Colin fan, Greg Miller, Tim Getty, Scarpinos, and you like video game, check them out on YouTube. Kind of funny or kind of funny games. Yep. So anyway, that's it for now. I'll see you guys later. Bye.